What would you say if you saw Rob Halford right now?
I'd jump his bones.
Okay, I did my worst of 2023 list, which went over well. I need to make the best movies of 2023 list, but I feel it's kind of irresponsible, or at least lame, to make it without seeing enough of the movies from the year. I still haven't seen Killers of the Flower Moon or Ferrari yet, so I'll need to watch those. So in the meantime, I want to talk about the stuff that I liked this year that wasn't movies. TV shows, comics, music, comedy specials, violent videos on the internet, stuff like that. So this will be more or less a quick rundown through the different mediums and what was my favorite and, maybe what was my least favorite. So first off, games. There was only one game I played from this year, and that was Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and I never finished it. I played a good 60 hours of it before getting completely bored of it. Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite games of all time. It has a certain magic and genius in this game design and a world that's missing in Tears of the Kingdom. The story wasn't as bad as this game's story was. Maybe one day I'll finish it, but honestly I don't feel the need to. While that was the only 2023 game I played, I still played a lot of games this year. And the best game I played was Red Dead Redemption 2, which I could rant on for hours, but it didn't come out this year.
Gentlemen, pack your stuff. We're going to McDonald's. The McRib is back, boys. Yeah! Chicken nuggets.
Music. A lot of albums this year, but my favorite has to be The Petro-Dragonic Apocalypse, or Dawn of Eternal Night, Annihilation of the Planet Earth, and the Beginning of Merciless Damnation by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Short title. While The Silver Cord wasn't bad, it just wasn't my thing, while this album is straight up metal, and at least as metal as Gizzard can get. It kind of felt like a fan Motorhead album. It was really fun. I had a lot of fun listening to it while bike riding. Other notable albums were the new Mitski album, which while one of her weaker albums, I still think was beautiful. Below Our Hell was better. It's Never Fair, It's Always True by Johnny, which is him as peak musically. Also, his little album movie he made was a lot of fun. Reminded me of Oliver Tree, but less pretentious and annoying. And there was a new Orwell's album finally. Friendly Fire, after the whole cancellation and kicking the guitarist out of the band. They came back with a pretty good album. I'm happy they're back making music, but it's nowhere near as interesting and as good as the last album, or the solo stuff Mario Cuomo has been doing, which has been consistently great, other than Goth Club. That song sucks. Anyway, it's worth a listen. I put the track USA in MGSV. Oh yeah, and Utopia rocked. As you can see, I have terrible taste in music. Comics. This was the year I got back in the comics and started wasting my money collecting them. So I've read a lot of comics this year, just most of them not from this year. The best comic I read this year was Grant Morrison's Animal Man, which is so good I can't put into words, and I've tried, but that didn't come out this year. The worst comic from this year was Jason Aaron's Punisher, which suffers from the worst fate of wasted potential, which is worse than something just being bad. I already talked about it in my Punisher video. I talked about it twice, but I'm done talking about that dumb comic. Even though it didn't start this year, it did end this year, and I thought the best comic this year was Tom King's Human Target. It was great. Tom King is a very controversial writer for most people, including me. He's made some stuff I consider unreadable, but he used to make some seriously fantastic comics. Batman War Jokes and Riddles and Vision, which are both amazing comics. And Human Target is the best thing from him in years. But it's not really the writing that makes the book special, it's the art. It's Greg Smallwood's incredible artwork. I love this romanticized Americana visual style with the experimental coloring choices. Each character looks amazing and each environment looks like a dream. There are several pages that I want to print out and frame. They're so beautiful. And it complements the noir writing very well. It's a fantastic tragedy, and honestly, I do think it does count as noir, just a Technicolor one. It's a comic about how people try to get through their trauma with the relationships and how they can affect one another. It's just a beautiful book. It's a comic that has lingered in my brain since I read it and deserves an entire video dedicated to it, but I need to reread it. But take this as just a recommendation. Comedy specials. Now, I thought about making a video ranking and reviewing every comedy special from this year that I watched, and then I realized that would be dumb and I would hate myself. So, the best comedy special this year was either Joe Perez's Slow and Steady or Louis C.K.'s Live at the Dolby Theater. Slow and Steady was a great work of good alt comedy and made me kind of think, while the other was just a new Louis special. Now, the funniest special I saw this year was the Lavelle Crawford. Lavelle Crawford is a slept-on comedian, in my opinion. He's best known for playing Huel on Breaking Bad, but he's been an accomplished comic. What I like about Lavelle is he doesn't really make specials. He makes performance art pieces that consist of grunts, moans, and snorts that comprise a language that he created himself. in the prison of his own mind, and it creates the funniest fucking thing in the world.
I don't make fun of homeless people, but especially when I see a homeless woman, I give her money automatically. Because I see a homeless woman out there, I be like, oh my God. It's not that I see my sister or I see my mother or my wife out in the street. When I see a homeless woman out in the street, my heart just drops. Because I'm saying to myself, oh my God, her pussy don't work no more.
TV. Let's round things out with TV shows. The worst thing I sat through was 3 episodes of the Russo Brothers show, The Citadel, which felt AI generated, so I didn't watch much of it, because I hated every second. I did watch the entirety of Secret Invasion, because I hate myself. I thought the idea of the show was interesting, and I liked the visual style. It was at least something different than Marvel's typical same BS, but same terrible dialogue, same ugly CGI, and same bad characters. Every episode felt like that Linkara bit of, we should do something. Should we do something? Just the entirety of it. And nothing of consequence happened in the show. It's just not worth watching. I hate Marvel. Now, the best TV show of 2023 was Barry Season 4. Once it was over, it got a lot of hate. It's clear that this was supposed to be 2 seasons, and this was another show affected by everyone knowing that the writer's strike was going to happen. But at the end of the day, it's a great show. Bill Hader is a fantastic director, and I felt it was a very conclusive ending to the show. I do think it's probably the worst season. Season 2 is still the best. Like, Fuchs' arc was not just hilarious, it was very emotionally satisfying and kind of impactful. Basically, Fuchs has been this toxic father to Barry and been this force of destruction in his life and everyone around him, to the point where Barry became a full-on blown monster. And then at the end, after everything, he was able to be a better person. He was able to help Barry out and save his son and give closure to everything, at least do one good thing, before Barry realized the monster he was. The show is about people who won't change. Not that they can't change, it's that they won't change. They won't change themselves and they won't change their natures. But Fuchs was the only one who could truly change himself. I could also be misremembering things, but I thought this was a good show. But anyway, that's it. It was an interesting year for media, and I hope 2024 will be better. It already has been, concerning that TED show they released was great. I really do have terrible taste. Anyway, that's this week's video. Scurry off, I got things to do, like waste my time watching movies. Thanks for watching, guys. Later.
What were they?
Raped my brother up there in the Clark County jail. Messed with him. I asked my brother, I said, John, I said, how did that feel to you? He said, Jane, wasn't no fun.